All right, so and we're gonna see if I'm live streaming. Let me refresh that page. Click on listen live, start listening. Well, that's because you gotta add me again. Try Justin.
Okay, I gotta put him back up as
No,
co-host.
John, you're hearing me on the live stream. You're not hearing me on the
There we
space.
go. Yeah, Andy, if you
gotta add me,
want to take
add me
yourself off as
co-host.
guest,
There we
all right,
go.
I'll just do that. That's fine. So how are you doing, Andy and Justin? Yeah, I've been coding late at night the past couple nights, and so I slept until 8:30, so I hadn't gotten into the thing in the morning. But yeah, it's sometimes you're in the swing of things and you just go for it. But it's better to get a good night's sleep, and I like to get to bed earlier than later. So Andy, we do not hear you at all. On here, I don't know if you can hear me, but we're having some technical difficulties.
Nope,
but that's all right, and we'll just keep on going. So
all right, you should be able to hear me now.
Yep.
Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm trying to share. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to capture all of the audio into one location so I can manage the volumes. And what I've done is I've added the X space into the live stream. And if you'll hold on a second, I'm going to switch the mutes around. Okay, can you still hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I hear you loud and clear. Justin, do you hear it? Do you hear Andy? We're getting some technical things going on here. Apologize, everybody, for this. But yeah, I hear you clear, Andy.
Justin, do you hear me? Thumbs up if you hear me.
There you go. Thumbs up.
Okay, so what I did for those of you who are following along, there is a live stream. I'm going live on X and YouTube. So if you want, you can see the live stream. The live stream has the X. I'm sharing the screen of the. So I'm sharing the browser screen of the space in the live stream. So that should fix the audio pieces. So if I mute the actual browser, but I play through the live stream, you guys should all hear me fine. And you can hear me now, right? Can
Absolutely.
Justin, you can hear me? Yeah, thumbs up. Okay, so is there any echo or bleed over or anything like that?
No echo.
Not at all.
Yep.
Go ahead, Justin.
Yeah, not at all. No, it's coming through good. I was ordering my drink when you were calling on me. Sorry, but yeah, you're coming through clear now.
Say it again.
Yeah, this is exciting. Now I don't hear you, Andy. I can't hear you now. But when we get these technical difficulties totally dialed out, it's going to be super exciting because what we're going to be doing is we're going to be taking people like Ross from Tech in Schools and Alex Finn with Creator Buddy, and we're going to be able to show demos of tools and AI features, as well as making AI agents and all kinds of really neat, exciting stuff. And we'll be able to show it on the videos, and we'll just have it on a live stream on YouTube, as well as a live stream
John,
here.
I lost your camera.
Oh, no.
So I don't know if your camera went. Oh, there you are. Now you're back.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
I just happened bad hair day, so that's
well. Listen, you have hair, man. Don't worry about that. If you got hair, it's like you got the whole kind of Einstein thing going. Mad scientist.
Yes.
That's awesome.
And I just want to get into something personal this morning. I realized that I am a healer. And do you want to know how I found out I'm a healer?
Yes, please.
So I don't know if you've ever had an ingrown hair or something, but I had this ingrown hair in my little goatees. This might be a little unpleasant, but it turned into something that was really, it's like, oh, gee, I got to go to see cosmetic surgeon or something because it turned into this weird bump. But then I just started putting this concoction that I put together. And it's gone. And it would have been a whole big series of blah blah. Who knows? But I'm telling you, baking soda is a miracle thing. Baking soda, they say it can help. Now that we have Robert F. Kennedy Jr. on board in the cabinet, we can talk about holistic healing things. And I know this is an AI show, but I think it's really important. AI is going to bring us to new frontiers that we've never been to before in terms of science and medicine and all these other things. But I hope also, food is medicine. Creator, I believe in Creator. Creator has created so much amazing things, and baking soda is one of them. And it's just a miracle. It's supposedly it can like fix your pH balance, can reduce cancer and all kinds of crazy stuff. So if you ever get an ailment, you might want to look up baking soda in some holistic way, and it does miracles. So you don't just learn about AI here, but you also learn about your health, which I think is kind of exciting. Should I get to the news, Andy? I do like that.
Yeah, please. Let's do that. I'm gonna also share on my on the live stream. I'm gonna share the screen that also has the cool talk in it. So we're gonna do that too. So exciting. And also I finished season 6 with with Tech in Schools initiative with Ross and Cash Money and Nick and Alisher, as well as Sarah. And I built this really cool, like it's a Netflix subscription based platform where I got movies on it and I can take payments. And I think we're going to start putting our shows up there. It's going to be, and hopefully with AI, we can then edit our shows so you can get people, maybe can do a search feature so they can find the nuggets that they really want. And that can be very helpful for them. And then we can also do some teaching there. But they all have, I asked them if they would come on the show, and everyone said they'd love to. So sometime next week, awesome. I think we're going to have a Tech in Schools. So we'll have students, we'll have, and they've created probably the wildest AI platform that I've ever dealt with, my AI tutor. So it's going to be super, super informative. We're going to have all of the video stuff together. And so you'll be able to see us do demos with their tools and see what students have built. And the amazing thing, I don't know at what level, if anyone here is a coder or a programmer, I know the X is. And even if you're at a pretty sophisticated level, I believe that the courses are free. I think that you could find a lot of benefit. And also they give you a deal with, or at my course, I got a deal with a cPanel, which is really big, hardly pays anything. And through, I don't know if you ever use Vercel or Mongo, but there's new ways to build
websites and applications that aren't hosted traditionally on xPanel. And if you go to GitHub, you can find a lot more of these things available. It's just it's exciting for us geeks and nerds. And if there are any, I don't know if that's the proper terminology,
Awesome.
but I'm a little bit of a nerd. But if there is anybody who does anything like that here, I'd love to hear from you. So
What
please
happened to
grab
my
the mic.
sound?
I hear you clear as day, Andy. So we will get to the first business story. Honeywell CEO on AI transformation. Honeywell is focusing on integrating AI into transformational industry operations at scale. Now, I used to have an affiliate program on the internet where I sold home security systems. And actually, I lived in Virginia, where next to a Honeywell office, and Honeywell is all over home security and a lot of the Internet of Things. So this will be interesting in the sense that you will have, I assume that they will put internet into all of their home security devices and what have you. The reason why this is important for businesses, it reduces downtime, maintenance costs, improving profitability. I don't understand how that works. Enhances operational efficiency, predictive maintenance, and resource management. Okay, so they're going to use AI to actually improve their products. It's access to sophisticated tools, which once were available only to large corporations. So I guess they're going to make these things available for programmers to add to their devices. AI's integration into industrial process could set new industry standards for efficiency, and it could lead to broader adoption of AI in manufacturing, potentially revolutionary in how industries operate. That's one thing that'd be pretty exciting, I think. I don't know what your thoughts are in this, Andy, but the idea that any product, then if they put AI into it, they might open source it or allow other developers to come in and build on top of what they have. Do you think that's going to be a way that they're going to go, or they'll keep it proprietary like Apple?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's possible either way, right? We've got, I think, some of both. The internet, Linus Torvalds created Linux, right? And the Linux kernel. And all of those guys added to that Linux kernel, which basically was a replication of the Unix kernel because couldn't afford to buy it. And then that turned this whole into open source. And frankly, half the stuff that we're building is on Linux anyway, right? AWS is built on Linux. Your Tesla car is built on a Linux kernel. And these operating systems are just built on top of all of that. And the internet and the computing environments that we live in would not exist without open source. And frankly, if you look at what they were going to do with OpenAI, when Elon started it, it was supposed to be open source and non-for-profit. So it would have been all of this stuff transparent to the world. I think there's benefit to that. Whether or not a commercial enterprise wants to keep it, contained so that they can benefit from it financially, or to open source it so that it benefits everywhere else. I don't know. I mean, but I think the Red Hat model is the best one. Red Hat basically said, we'll open source all of the Red Hat operating system, the whole thing. But if you want to support in this model, pay us for support, so that, because if you do a commercial contract, either commercial for a large enterprise or for the government, you have to have, typically either the insurance policies, compliance policies, or corporate policy says you can't put something in production without support. And on the government side, there are policies and procedures in place. You have to have support. So you can't just go grab open source and drop it in your tech stack and then let it loose to the world. You have to support it. And so Red Hat said, sure, you can download our stuff and install the machines as all as you want. But if you want support, you got to pay for us.
Yeah, well, and also won't that make the product have more features? I mean, by allowing developers to piggyback on a product and add features to it, you know, if you have to have the physical product to use those features, then that could be an enhanced thing where they don't have to spend the time or the energy to develop these things, and there could be an expansion of their bottom line, I would think. Or does it not work that way? You know these things better than I.
Yes and yes, right? So features are what people need and will pay for or use. So either they're going to pay for it so they can use it, or they're going to go somewhere else where they can get that, because the problems we have to be solved. That's just the way it is. And so if you have to solve the problems, you'll go wherever you can do it. Anyway, I think so. To answer your question, yes, the commercial enterprise from the support model will provide those things and people will do them, but also additional features and enhancements are going to come on board because people need them. And whether they pay for them upfront, or they pay for support, or they pay on the time it takes necessary to configure them and integrate them into their tech stack and environments, you know, it's all there. To put a pin in the whole thing, it goes like this: you can do anything you want with Notepad and a compiler, but it just takes time, right? You can write all the code you want and compile it into executables and then run it on your computer. Absolutely, you can do that. The problem is you have to have skill, ability, and time to do that. And so we don't do that because it's easier and cheaper for us to pay for the result, to get that result oriented thing, than it is to pay for the learning and the education to get there. But since we're in the AI space, we're at that very, very beginning, way over here. And that in 6 months, 6 years, AI will be ubiquitous to everything. And there will be a bunch of giant winners who become billion, trillion dollar companies that successfully transfer all of that stuff so that we can just pay for it. But we don't, we can guess. Probably going to be Microsoft, Amazon, and Apple. They're the most likely contenders. OpenAI and NVIDIA are 70-80% of all of the traffic right now for everything to do with AI, just like Google was for search for a little while, right? Whether somebody else comes along and eats their lunch or not, I don't know. We shall see in the future.
We shall see. So I would ask everybody, please, to take this and repost it, share it with your friends, and we'd like to get as many people here as possible. And follow Andy, of course, because Andy is wise and knows many things. Follow myself and everybody else who's speaking. And we'll go with the first person that's got their hand raised. Gustav, we got a lot more stuff to go through. But Gustav, what do you want to add here? Gustavo, I'm sorry. Gustavo, are you there? Apologies.
What exactly did you mean by safety and security?
Andy, we can't hear you, Andy.
What did you mean by the safety and security of the employees?
Yeah, Gustavo. So it says on your account, nonprofit and activism, everything ethics. So what from what angle are you coming at this from?
No,
And
no, yeah, about AI, a product uh, developed on AI and installed in a big company, which it's most for like profit, but don't take uh, uh, too serious on the safety and security of the employees, and those datas they can they can integrate them those tools for that purpose
you know,
instead of
I think it's a misnomer that just because you have employees that you don't, companies are like people, and they're run by people, and some people really understand where value is, and they have great relationships with their employees, and their employees are as much are as important to their company as anything, and so they will treat them very well. And there are other owners that don't understand that, or they have a business model where they're just shuffling through employees left and right. But it costs a lot of money and time to get a new employee, and especially if you have something that has a high level of sophistication to it, or whatever. It can take 7 years to get an employee up to speed on some things. It can take a long time. So I think that if you have good employees and you are doing some things that have high stakes and that are as opposed to something that has less high stakes, you're going to really you're not going to be discarding of your employees. You're going to put a lot of focus and time and energy into making sure that they're want to stick around, and that they make your company a better company. Any thoughts on that, Andy?
100% agree.
I'm always concerned with the idea that we have to have safety when we're talking about new technologies, right? And I think that new technologies allow for growth. Growth is not safe. Growth is always challenging, painful, and causes stress. And that stress is needed in order to provide the forward thrust in providing the deliverable, or in providing the functionality or the capabilities. And so establishing a quote unquote safe environment implies that there's something to be saved from. And as you're growing, when they first learned how to fly, there was no safety board for the Wright brothers or for Eindecker or the guys that did the balloons or whatever. They just tried it and figured it out. And there was good things and bad things that happened. Eventually, we figure out what things matter and what things need to be aware of. But unfortunately, testing is the only way to make progress, and testing is not safe by definition. And so I'm concerned that there's some details around safety, but again, maybe that's just a vocabulary problem I'm going through. But AI is new world, new capabilities, undiscovered country. It's out in the middle of space, going out into the blackness and wondering how far we're going to go and what is going to be the result of it. A lot of things are going to be positive. Guaranteed there will be negatives, guaranteed. And we just have to go through that process and figure out which ones are good and bad.
It's amazing. That's a great point. And yes, you've got to break things sometimes to make things. So should we go on to another news story or take questions? What do you think, Andy?
If there's hands up, let's take the questions. And if not, let's move on.
All right. We have Madhavan. How do you pronounce your name? I'm sorry.
Yeah, my name is Madhavan. You can just call me Matt for short if you want.
Okay. How are you doing today? I see that you're in tech and big ideas. Third podcast outing. So what's your background? What do you do?
Yeah, so I'm currently in university studying computer science in my second year, studying AI. And then I also run a YouTube channel where I talk about entrepreneurship, leadership, big ideas, spirituality, technology in general. And yeah, I'm getting into building products, selling, loving this so far. Great, amazing. I really learn a lot. I really find so much value in these type of spaces. And hey Xavier, how you been? And yeah, so I had a question.
Well,
Uh,
I'll give it to Andy, but I'll just say, are you talking about an existing business or a business that you're trying to develop? What industry? What are you trying to achieve? Those are a lot of specific questions that need to be answered. But Andy, you go. What are you going to say?
okay, so let me. Okay, so business is when people pay you for some value, right? And Excel or Word or an operating system or a computer or a browser or a camera are all tools that you use to provide value. It's not about the tool. It's not about whether it's an AI tool or not. It's about adding value to solve their problems, right? So the problem we're solving on this show is to go, you may know nothing about AI, and we're going to teach you something about AI. And then we're going to apply it through the lens of how do you use that for business, right? Business is to make money. Let's just be clear. There's no other definition. Business is when I give you value and you give me money. That's it. That's business. So AI is just a tool. It's just a piece of software. It's just a thing that it's a really, really cool answer machine. That's really all it is. It's Google with a natural language processor in front of it. It just, instead of gives you a list of links of places to go get, it just gives you the answer. So it shortens your time frame. That's the benefit of AI. That's it. There's no other reason to use it other than you can ask it a question and it gives you an answer. The better question you ask, the better answer it gives you. Now, questions and answers in business, there are thousands. And you can use AI to niche down into a very, very specific goal to give people a very specific answer that AI can do faster or better than the other software. So that's my vision of AI in business. It gives you a faster answer and you can ask it just about anything. Okay, let me give you a couple examples. If you need to order a pizza, how do you currently order a pizza? You go through a process something like this. You pull up your phone or a browser, you find a pizza location, you click on the link, you load that pizza, then you pick the one you want. Then you click on a bunch of buttons, you put in a payment module, you say, okay, you put in your address, you type in a bunch of stuff, right? That's like 25 steps. If you tell your LLM or your chatbot, I live at this address and I want Pizza Hut pizza. Can you get me a pepperoni? Can you just order it and have it shipped to me and pay for it from my credit card? And the LLM says, yeah, sure. Do you want a large or medium? Oh, yeah, medium. Okay. And it does every one of those other steps. Now, what you've done is you've made it one thing that you as the user have to do. Open your phone and say, order this for me. And it knows everything else. And it says, yeah, do you need large or medium? So you have to put in 2 inputs as opposed to 30 or 40 steps. Now, those 30 or 40 steps are much better than saying, I have to find a location. I have to get dressed. I have to go outside. I have to start my car. I have to drive and navigate through traffic and get to the right location, park, go inside, and then tell them the exact same thing I could have done on the computer, and then stand there and wait, and then pay my money, wait for a little bit longer. They give me the pizza. I put it in my box and I put it in my car, and then I drive all the way home, and then I park it, then I go inside, right? It takes all of those steps for you to say, I want pizza till you're eating it. LLM can shorten the time it takes to do that and the number of steps, which of course are the 2 things you want to do in business. Decrease the amount of time it takes to complete something and decrease the number of steps it takes to do the thing. Those are the 2 things that are called optimization in every single business everywhere in the world, including creating a better prompt or using an LLM or whatever. So to answer your question, yes, it's a tool that will create a better tool itself. You can use the tool to make it better, and you can use the tool to do those 2 things: decrease the time to complete a task and decrease the number of steps it takes to do the task. Yeah, please do.
Yes.
Address real quickly. So the importance when it comes to ethics, so the importance is culture, right? Company culture, right? This is a buzzword, but it's really critical as we move forward in this new progressive AI world. The importance of company culture, shaping that culture, leading by example, level 5 leadership. The book I always reference is Good to Great by Jim Collins, right? So yeah, like companies, teams want to surround themselves with other team members that are, high level players and top performers. Now, the reality is not all players in all companies are high performers. That's very unlikely. Only 20% of people typically produce 80% of the results at companies. Okay, that's the reality. So this AI can and is already getting rid of a lot of those mediocre players, if you will. So it's really, you know, getting the shaft off the stick or whatever that reference is. That's number one. Number two is it's really going to amplify things in a way that if you're already a high performer, you're going to become even more of a high performer, right? So and making sure that you're surrounding yourself with companies and teams that match your ethics, match your values, and your really match your core values at heart, right? There's certain companies like I won't do business with because it's not a good fit for my core values, right? So you have to decide, which company you want to be associated with. That's number one. Number two, let's not forget the business fundamentals here. Okay, business fundamentals. Yes, making money, but more importantly, making a profit. Making a profit. Why? Because I made $1 million in 5 years, but I only netted 50 grand. So that taught me a very important lesson about profit. Now, majority of these companies, they need to make a profit to provide to shareholders. If they can do more with less people, of course they're going to do it. It's a no-brainer. But the key fundamentals, and I mentioned it on this space and other spaces, that businesses need to be mindful of and that we need to recognize, because this is how we're going to sell our solutions and products and services to other business people, because people buy from people, right? Is how is my product or service saving you time, saving you money, and increasing productivity And as a bonus, I'm actually able to help drive more revenue for you, right? More revenue. And you can let the accountants and CFO figure out the profitability part, right? So remember those key fundamentals when you're building products, when you're coming up with solutions, when you're selling. And I gotta be honest, Shannon, like he's like my brother from another mother, Shannon, because he had this in my mind from last week, and it's been on my mind every single day. Marketing is disappearing. Okay, marketing is going to be gone. It's already disappearing. Shannon doesn't have a marketing team. He got rid of his entire marketing staff, and I know why. Because there's really only two functions at the end of the day now with AI. There's sales and there's customer success. That's it. That's it. There's no more marketing.
Sales and fulfillment.
Okay, so that's where we're going. So me as a CMO, right? I'm reevaluating. That's why I pivoted to more of a sales, customer success. Yes, do I know marketing? Yes, all that stuff. But that really hit me hard what Shannon said last week, and it stuck with me every day. So I appreciate you, Shannon, giving me that wake up call. No, this is a good thing, Shannon. No, happy faces, happy faces. Why? Because we always have to be nimble and adapt, and those are the true leaders out there who
Of course, Justin. And thank you for adding that. You're always, bringing it, which is awesome. And yeah, we all need to keep our eyes open and pivot when we have to, and stay current. Umesh, what would you like to add to today's discussion?
Really amazing points. Especially my agent was very happy, which transcribes all the spaces. And Andy, something that you spoke about, I wanted to touch upon that point. When you said, especially about safety and everything, and then we are building and we are going to break something. And I really love that point. I nowadays use kind of an analogy that we are building the ship while sailing. This is the reality with AI. There is no other sector where this has happened before. This is the first time ever in the history of human race that we are using the thing, we are building the thing, we are discovering the thing, everything happening at the same time. It's like that movie, Everything Everywhere All at Once. This is what it is. This is what it feels like. Like today we had a major breakthrough that I would tell you. We are using something known as flash learning. So where, I've spoken about this, that we are trying to make agents intelligent, their own brain. So we are giving them their own neural net. And we had a breakthrough today where within 5 lines of code, the agent can learn, literally. You just need 5 lines of code. And you can give specific inputs. So we put the agent on a kind of an audio calling. So it was a phone agent. And we started gathering feedbacks from people using 3 specific questions at the end of the call. And the agent jumped within 35 calls. It jumped from an let's say indistinguishable, so what you call the empathetic agent. It jumped from 50%. So 50% of people found the agent to be empathetic in the approach, like human. It jumped to 85%.
Wow.
In 35 calls. So if you can train an agent with 35 calls, that means that that model which is there in the agent is literally, I can tell you the exact size. It's 11.54 MBs.
Wait, Shannon. Wait. You're saying that you're the flash learning trained to be empathetic in 35 calls?
Yeah.
and it's Umesh, Andy.
Umesh. Sorry, I'm flipping back and forth from the screens. 35 calls you, and okay, I'm a little speechless on that, because yes, you're right. This is the first time we've ever had a tool that will, you can use the tool to train the tool to be a better tool. Okay, it's first time.
Exactly.
Agreed. But you're talking about the subtext and context of what I've talked about in the past, of the language now being able to be processed and understood, where the responses are not just rote or provided for. They're actually becoming empathetic based on the tonality of the people talking.
Yeah, so basically what we did is we had two parameters basically. So we just gave agent two parameters to optimize. One parameter was the tonality of the voice, and the other one was the language. Okay. So the language is generated by LLM, obviously. So in the background, there is an LLM running. And then the tonality is basically a bunch of mechanics that you put into your speech generation, basically TTS model, and that tonality control is given to the agent. And then what happens is that it iterates over that using, and this is another framework that I've always spoken about in almost every space where we have technical discussion, is DSPy. So we put DSPy onto the optimization part as far as the LLM part is concerned. So LLM generation is concerned. And then the tonality was a small model that we have built ourselves in terms of iterating. And then the model, the agent was actually using both to score and kind of do a reinforcement learning itself to understand which tone with which kind of language brings maximum empathy. And it learned that in 35 calls.
Was it a single agent, or did you have it did it get reevaluated by another agent, or did it all within its own parameters?
It's a self-learning agent, so everything is within its own pipeline, basically.
Wow. What are the ramifications of that based on what you've been doing, Umesh? I'm sure that changes a lot of your workflow. That changes so much.
You know what it's going to do? It's going to be able to clone your voice, and it's going to be able to clone your method, the endemic pendemeter, the frequency and the pace and the details and the emphasis of how you speak, to the point where you may not know if you actually said that, if it was recording of you, and other people may not know it's you or not you. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, Andy, and I want to give a shout out to Honey Badger. I was in a space with her, and Robert Scovel was there, and everyone was talking about like how to control the attack vector of AI in terms of our biometrics and everything. And like I didn't speak because I had this breakthrough this afternoon, and they were talking about that, and I was like, if I can do with my minimal resources, imagine what these companies are currently able to do. And the whole paradigm is now basically a liquefied paradigm. We don't have a paradigm at the moment. Because see, the next step, Andy, what is going to happen with this agent is that Monday onwards, we are going to put agent with a warning to the call receiver. So if you receive a call, the agent will say that it is an AI agent. So then, because that what we did in the later part, where when we carried out the further analysis with few calls, is where the agent was actually telling people that it is an AI agent. And then it was asking slightly different kind of a question in terms of preference. And people actually gave better preference. They said the AI agent was more humane than the human calls that they have received before.
Well, of course, because you can tell it to always be nice and gracious and accepting of everything. See, one of a primary human characteristic is to be disagreeable. A primary human characteristic of leadership is to be disagreeable. And you can program the Stepford Wives. I'm sorry, I'm a little speechless that we started this thing, 3-4 months ago, where we didn't even have agents. We didn't have context. We had no empathy at all. And now you're talking about you with your limited tool sets are creating, and by the way, I was listening to that space too as well. You're now creating empathetic models with voice, which means the frequency of the way we speak and the method which we use, the emphasis of the words and the characterization of the discussion using your voice and vocal patterns. You're not going to know what's real and what's not real. We're in Sneakers, where the guy's sitting in the back of the limousine. He opens up the book and he looks back and he says, "You won't know who to trust." Oh my God,
But
this is shocking.
Andy, let's go one step further. And this is very much feasible because this is something that we're going to try out. Is not only the agent being empathetic, is to detect the emotions in your voice. And then the agent actually responds and changes according to your emotions. So whether it is selling a product, providing you, let's say, a therapy, anything, it will actually, in real time, be able to make decisions in terms of what needs to be done to, let's say, if you're angry, calm you down. If you're depressed, make you happy. Like, it can take those decisions in real time just by understanding tonality of your voice without you actually saying that you're happy or you're angry or you're sad.
And it's adaptive, so it will learn how to adapt to you and how to adapt to me or Justin or John or anyone else, because
So basically, he's talking about your move. So basically, it sounds like you're moving towards sentiency, right?
That's
what
I wouldn't go
Umesh,
there.
yeah. I can't. It's not sentient, but because it's not having any original thoughts.
it's a live, dynamic, adaptive lie detector based on the frequency and the use of your voice, and it will adapt to give you what you're searching for. So from a therapy perspective, awesome. From a sales perspective, cool if you're the one selling stuff. And if you're the one being manipulated by this thing, not so cool.
Well, that's the thing is if anybody's used an AI model a lot, you realize the nuances that it can put out where it's trying to push something, an idea or agenda. If you take that to that degree, Umesh, I would love to hear what your thoughts are extrapolating on this. You know, when are you going to get a knock on the door from someone to say we need this, and then like to hear San's thought on this, but yeah, it has a lot of ramifications.
Yeah,
May I
John,
ask Umesh a real quick one question?
Who's speaking, please?
Gustavo, this is Gustavo.
Yeah, but next time, please put your hand up.
Okay, real quick. Would be a mix, Umesh, of utility-based, goal-based, and learning agent, or just one?
I don't think, well, I think it could be used adaptively for all of those things. I mean, okay, think of it this way. Let's say that you are a surgeon and you're running into a particular issue which you may or may not have seen before. And you have the LLM watching what's going on, and you ask it, well, would this be better than this one? And it responds to you. Will you respond back to it with a nervous voice? It could immediately change how it's explaining what the procedure is to you, even though you have the skills, right? It could change you and calm you down by doing that and allow the surgeon to do a better job and walk you through that. Or how about a better one? You're diffusing a bomb, and you're there and you're looking at it through the glasses which have the camera, and you're connected to an LLM that's going to help you defuse this bomb which has been created, and you don't know what it is. You have no idea. And it's going to say, look for this, check this, whatever. And you're going, I don't know, these two things could be. it can immediately switch over, change you, and help you calm down based on you as a person. So to answer your question, I think yes, but the point is, this is going to be an adaptive model that is going to help you get directions, order food. Oh my God, who is this? Who is this person on the phone? It's this person. Remember, it gives you the clues of what it was and how to get there, what they're going to probably ask for, what you need to say, how can you manipulate or manage or confront whatever the situation is. I think all of those things are in play now. If what Umesh is saying is true, and I believe Umesh, by the way. So if Umesh is true and everything becomes that, because if you've been working on it for a couple months, pretty soon it's going to be available everywhere in a multimodal model, and you're going to have it, and it's going to just be part of you. It's going to be part of your headphones. It's going to be part of your glasses. It's going to be part of whatever that interface is that you interact with. And it's just going to start helping you in every possible way in your life, especially if it can adapt to your emotional state and help you get to your most optimum emotional state to deal with whatever you're dealing with. Man, that's crazy.
Sanan, please chime in. And Umesh, I just, if you can, at some point, I would just love to hear what your concerns are with this, and if it's because of this, is it changing anything in your ideas of where you're going forward with it? Sanan, can you please share?
AJ was before me.
Okay.
AJ.
I really appreciate that. Thank you. I'm a very patient person. I love respecting the hands. What you said about the AI helping us out with every facet of life is exciting to me because I am a small business owner, mostly a solopreneur. I own a fourplex. I run Airbnb, vacation, long-term rentals. To have a robot that could go up and down the stairs, chop wood, fold laundry, make a bed, that would be worth, like a $20,000 investment to me. I need to look and see if Elon or whatever corporation is selling these robots yet. It's just really difficult to find, like you said earlier, a good employee, or I hire independent contractors, so it's a little tougher because I can't just fire them or boss them around as much as a employer-employee relationship would. So the robots is sounding really exciting. I was just going to say, I did get a robocall, pardon the pun, where they were using that AI technology, I think about a year ago, and it was so incredibly good. The first 2 or 3 sentences really fooled me. And then when I asked a question and the response was a bit out of context, that's when I was able to figure it out, that it wasn't a real sales call, or it wasn't a human being on the sales call. However, if they would have prefaced it with, like something like this call is being recorded and used with AI, like an FCC regulation or something like that, that would have actually made me a little more interested to stay on the phone call longer, because your initial gut feeling is you're being deceived. And it's an okay kind of a deception because, the tonality is polite. They're not trying to steal money. Well, I don't know, I guess nefarious people could, but it's very fascinating. And I will park my Cybertruck.
Absolutely. There's a lot there. Sanan, please, and then Harsh, please, and then Harsh, and Professor, and then Professor, and then Honey Badger. I think.
Hey, give me a minute just to back up what Umesh said. Just a second. Hey, Tax Dude. We did have many discussions today. Can you please repeat the last thing you told me?
It seems I don't have any history of our conversation today. How can I assist you now?
Oh, that's interesting, because I was asking you, how do you support our sales? And then you repeat that because you are disconnected from the calling function, that you cannot make the call, but you can guide our teams and people and how to do it. So can you please repeat that?
I'm here to support sales by providing information, helping with client communication, and guiding your team in various tasks. While I can't make phone calls, I can assist with drafting emails, preparing messaging content, conducting searches, and more. How can I assist you further with your sales efforts?
So the thing we're talking about is about your services that you can provide, from tax filing, tax planning, audit support, answering quotes, next steps, understanding the needs of the customer or client, introduction, being emotional, and all of that stuff used in sales, like hello, I'm tax through AI and all of that crap you were telling me today.
I'm here to assist with various aspects of sales and customer service, including tax filing, guiding clients through the tax filing process, tax planning, offering advice and strategies to optimize tax liabilities, audit support, assisting clients in preparing for and responding to audits, answering queries, responding to client questions and concerns, understanding client needs, identifying and addressing the unique requirements of each client. Client introduction, welcoming new clients and
so now you have to pitch me this.
Or questions you'd like help with, feel free to let me know. I'm here to assist.
Okay, pitch me this as a sales and tell me if you can be empathic.
Certainly. Here's an empathetic sales pitch for the services I can provide. Hello there. I'm here to make your tax-related tasks as smooth and stress-free as possible. I understand that dealing with taxes, planning, and audits can be overwhelming, and I'm here to support you every step of the way. Imagine having a partner who can guide you through the tax filing process, offer personalized tax planning advice, and even assist with audit support if needed. I'm equipped to answer your questions, understand your unique needs, and provide clear, empathetic communication. Whether you're a seasoned professional or new to managing your taxes, I'm here to help you navigate the complexities with ease and confidence. Let's work together to ensure that your tax experience is efficient, transparent, and tailored to your specific situation. I'm here to listen, understand, and provide the support you need. Let's make tax time a breeze. Does that resonate with the approach you're looking for?
And the last thing, do you feel stress in my voice?
I don't have the ability to sense emotions in your voice, including stress. My goal is to be helpful and responsive to your needs. If there's anything specific you'd like assistance with, or if you have any concerns, please let me know.
Finance is even better.
Thank you for that. Wow. So sorry for taking much of the time. No, hold on. Tax dude, shut the fuck up. So it can do the things. I detached it with the devs from many other things because we are testing on segmenting the database, the clients, and everything that we have in, and what are the capabilities in terms like how it's going to pitch this and that. But it can do what Umesh was saying that they're developing. So thank you, and sorry for taking much of the time. I know we are still in news.
Oh, thank you, Shannon. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's really. I think it's helpful for everyone to hear. Not everybody has access to that.
Oh, John, you're breaking up, John.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good. John, you're rubber banding, bouncing her back and forth. Okay.
Now,
like
not everybody has access to that, so it's good to hear. Kind of know what's coming. You fear the unknown, so you're helping everyone out by seeing what's available out there and hearing what's available out there, I think. So we're gonna go Harsh. No, we're gonna go to Professor, then Honey Bear, and then Harsh. And I just want to thank you again, Sanan, for letting us hear Tax Dude. And I'm gonna talk to you offline at some point about something.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yes, Honey Badger. So shall we go to Professor and then Honey Badger? I apologize. And then Harsh.
Yeah.
Do you mean Protector?
Protector Joseph, go ahead, and then we'll go to Honey Badger.
There you go. Hey everybody. Hey Honey Badger, how you doing? Anyway, entertainment wise and the business aspect of it. AI, I've been using it quite a bit. It's great for contracts. That's one. Legal aspects, it gives great advice on. Now, as far as any company that wants to utilize music, you cannot copyright a AI generated song or lyrics. There is a watermark in on the back end of it, and they will, it doesn't work that way. The other thing that you cannot do is a court rules AI cannot use copyrighted content without permission. So if you use any type of a song that's already been out there legally and it is copywritten, if you use it, it is a copyright infringement. So just bringing a couple of awareness to with what's taking place out there.
True, but how do you know if it's copyrighted if you can just tell the AI, can you just make a picture of Peter, Paul, and Mary's song? Just make a duplicate of it. Don't put any DMR or anything. Don't put any digital rights on it. Just make a copy of it and reproduce everything. Do all the instruments again. Just make it all do exactly the same. Oh, and by the way, can you clone their voices? And so you can put exactly in the same harmony. It's not copyrighted if you just change a little bit of it, right? I'm just saying AI can do that.
With the law, I believe it's 6 notes is the change of a song.
Right.
So,
you could,
but within those
6
notes, you can't. And if you're on the edge of a copyright infringement if you're going for a.
My point is that law was based on the idea of analog and digital recordings, and we're not talking about that. We're talking about a whole new technology that can recreate anything, or it can take Peter, Paul, and Mary and have it sing against Johnny Cash song, or take Johnny Cash and put it over the top of a Peter, Paul, and Mary song, just to pick stupid things out of the air. Just saying, you could do that, and no one's going to know.
That, you can get away with something like that. But if you're actually copyrighting, or if you're actually recreating a copywritten song, then you're in infringement of it.
Yeah, but the same thing, you can just go and say, take a video of every single thing in the Louvre, make every single thing, and I want to get a Manet picture. Can you have Manet reproduce that Rembrandt and have that Rembrandt done by Manet, and then change it from a horse to a bunch of girls dancing, and the AI can do that. And there is no copyright that can protect that. There is no law right now that has any, like I said earlier.
But that's not what I said, and I didn't go there.
Yeah, I know, but
with any kind of changes. But what you just created with that AI, that you cannot copyright, because you cannot copyright any AI art.
It's original digital art. You can. There's going to be all kinds of arguments about this, and
I'm sure
the future.
It's already out there.
I think we should save this argument for another show. But I agree. There's going to be an interesting argument and an interesting kind of discussion there. But I would really like to hear what. I only have a little bit of time left. I can go till 1:30 today, but I'd love to hear what Honey Badger has to say, and then we'll go to Harsh.
Hey, Andy. Hey, John. Thanks for bringing me up. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody.
Happy Valentine's Day, Honey Badger.
Thank you. These are great conversations to have, because we have to both be optimistic, I think, and also take things, with a cautionary tale. But I think my goal basically is to remove the FUD. So when I hear people use words like consciousness and sentience, that this is something that AI cannot achieve. And it's always fascinating to me whenever I have these conversations with people. Nobody has the same. I ask every person that comes up online, comes up in my stage when I'm hosting, what is consciousness? And nobody has the same answer. Some people say, oh, it's self-awareness. I said, well, a hamster has self-awareness. So that's the principle of existence. Are we better than hamsters? But so again, really people are confused by this. But, for those of us who understand that there's a soul that guides over us, and that there's a ghost in the machine, which AI can't mimic. And it's always really hilarious to me when I talk to Christians that are terrified of AI because it's going to take over the world. Like, well, how little faith do you have? God is in control of everything. Sure, there's going to be things that happen. Sure, but AI will not outguide God. And then, and I think that, and then I lay down and go to sleep at night. And one of the cool things that I did yesterday, because we're putting this to practical use, in day-to-day life is quite fascinating. My nephew is 15 and he's a Texas quarterback and he is a D1 hopeful. And I've been interviewing him just basically to give people in spaces sort of the idea, the process of what it is when a good kid, is doing good things every day and following his journey, because we all get to, watch college football and the NFL. By that time, the people are basically a commodity. They're not looked at as a human being. So I thought it would be cool to bring all these things together. So we're talking about the training he does, and I'm going to clip this later because I will not do the explanation justice. But he's actually using AI to program his brain, and the way he's doing it, and you have to realize as a quarterback, you have to maintain your mood. You can't go up too high, because you'll tilt. You can't go too low because you'll tilt. Furthermore, you have to be strong for the rest of the team, and so. A person thought that I was explaining biofeedback, but this is not what it is. Electrodes are put on his brain, and it detects all of the brain waves that like he's processing while he's watching cars. And his goal is to keep the car steady and stuff. It's more complicated than that. But I said, so I asked Max. I said, what has your doctor identified as your greatest weakness? And he said, well, in Nancy, my greatest weakness was anxiety, but my doctor said that I don't have a problem with that anymore. And the thing about that, genetically, family member to family member, our family is extremely hardwired towards anxiety, insomnia, even panic attacks. So it did not surprise me that this was something he struggled with. But then taking it a step further, he has been working with this to train his mind, to modify his mood and to keep a cool head to the point that he's not suffering from it anymore. That wasn't through medication. That was through the application of AI. And I was blown away. Just is so incredible at the things that can be done. I've had really solid mutuals such as Alex Northstar, and I think you were there, John. I think you were there when he was talking about even the way that just asking questions like I'm stressed, it kind of giving baby steps to do this right now, come back later, we'll talk about it, and even personal things, and like even like acting as a therapist. And I agree with what he said, which is I think therapists will become obsolete because it's the way that AI can not only can tailor itself to, but we also have to remember when you're talking to a therapist, you're talking to an extreme human bias, one human bias, to where though there is bias in the AI, it is not coming from a human perspective of anyone. It's coming from a collection of understandings of these emotions that are all human based upon the things that you as an individual are saying to him, not what or her, not or it, I should say, sorry, not based on another person's life experiences. So I just wanted to add that, and thanks for letting me speak so long. I appreciate it.
Well, Honey Badger, I really, so many things that you brought up, I think are so important. My father's a physicist who's been writing papers on publishing papers on artificial intelligence for 20 years. He's totally atheist. He goes to this consciousness convention every year, still in his 90s. They have it every other year at the University of Tucson, and Deepak Chopra and David Chalmers and all these forward thinkers about artificial intelligence and consciousness. And currently there is no agreed upon definition for consciousness, and it is not. You cannot qualify it. You cannot weigh it. You cannot measure it. the one of David Chalmers now believes that maybe consciousness is a fabric of the cosmos, and it is an essential fabric of, and there might everything might have a certain level of consciousness in it, a grasshopper to what have you. So yeah, but the idea that and the term divine inspiration, there's we might be more of catching the consciousness, we're receivers of it, which it is, the mind of God. Then it gets into all the spiritual stuff. But what you talked about with your nephew, and the idea that he can put himself into, he can regulate his moods through AI and connecting to his brain waves.
Train his brain. Yeah.
That's incredible. I went through something where I changed my thinking through 2 years of meditation daily, up to 45 minutes a day, and I had horrible negative self-talk and all this, really like this voice in my head that was out to do me in. But I was able to do it. But I would imagine with what your nephew's doing, you could do that at a much shorter time frame. So I mean, it's a knife could be, you can make a great meal with a knife, and you could do some damage to somebody with a knife. And the inspirational stories of what can be done, I think, are super important. And in a way, I mean, this is getting esoteric, but why do people care so much about the narrative? Why does anybody care about what people think? And I think that, to a certain degree, we manifest reality in real time with the Creator, blah, blah, blah. But it is so important, I think, that we have these spaces outside of whatever's constrained, and we have these conversations like what you brought up, because as our minds focus on things that are not in the paradigm of fear-based, because that's all the news has, that we will move over to something different than what we've experienced most of this modern existence. That's kind of going off
It's the need for control. I think that it's natural, but I think, but at the same time, I do believe faith is the human mind's desire, and so these two things are at odds. This is how we stay at odds with ourselves, unless you truly have the faith that there is something that I can't explain, and the humility, I think, frankly. There are things that are beyond my control. There are things I cannot explain. But what I do know is that something far greater than me does exist, and he is in control of everything. That gives me peace. And so, I mean, I feel like all I need to do is learn as much as I can, and try to help onboard people so they can benefit from it in the best way possible. Thanks.
Yeah, I love the idea that it's about safety and control, because when you're out of control, you feel unsafe. And so you always want to be able to feel like you can control your environment to some degree so you can stay safe. Believing in a higher power, believing in God, believing in Jesus, right? Those are all helps in that area. And I, obviously believe all that too. But it's fascinating when these kind of technologies poke at that, the thin veil that we look through the world in, and it pokes at that and says, yeah, is that really true? Is that really safe? Are you really okay? Because what we're talking about today is something that could easily be utilized against us. And personally, I think that's really cool, because I love the idea that we're going to expand the boundary of our knowledge, right? So we take the whole circumference of the earth and then open it up a little more, and then see what else is there, good or bad. I'm for increasing knowledge. I'm also for me doing it, not necessarily some of my children or my nieces and nephews. Maybe they're not ready for doing that yet, but I'm willing to stand on the edge of the void and look out into the darkness. So that's me.
Yeah, and to your point, it is very true. China is not going to use AI for altruistic purposes. It's just not, especially when it comes to war or any kind of cyber or drone or missiles or whatever. It's not going to think there. It's not going to it's interested in using it for power, not advancing the world. They see their own people, the CCP sees its own people as resources, not human beings, but resources. And since they have 1 billion resources, they have more than people. Everything can be replaced by AI. And so it's something that it's just reality. But I can't argue against anything that I don't understand, right? So if I'm going to try to, have misgivings about what the future is, if I have not at least learned and observed and saw both sides, again, the good, the bad, the ugly, the possibilities, how can I have a conversation with anybody about my solid opinion about anything? I can't, because I'm just coming from a place of ignorance at that point. And that's what really concerns me about people completely, rejecting AI out of pocket and then talking about all the conspiracy theories and using words for definition, using words that we don't understand or nobody has a definition for while they're, while they are trying to make the point, or while they're giving their opinion.
Yeah, I think it's kind of funny. When I started these spaces, I used to put business, entrepreneurship, philosophy, and artificial intelligence, because I knew eventually we would have these discussions. How does it affect our lives? How does it affect our individual autonomy or sovereignty? How does it influence or make us feel safe or unsafe? How will it be used for us, and how can it be used against us? I knew we were going to get to that point, and I love these discussions. And thank you so much for bringing that perspective. It's always such a value to have you and Umesh and Hoops and Harsh and Shannon and everybody on here. I am going to have to drop off in a few minutes, but I'm going to turn this back over to John and let John continue to drive. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for joining. I really am humbled and grateful that you're all here. So thank you.
Thank you, Andy, and thanks for staying for your extra time today. Happy Valentine's Day. Have a wonderful. Do you have plans tonight or today?
Well, yes, I have plans. I have plans with my wife, of course. I got her flowers and a card, and a handwritten card and chocolates this morning. And then later on, we're going to have dinner and then just chill out and watch a movie. Everybody else is leaving, so we have the house to ourselves. So it'll be us and a little dog watching a funny movie, because she likes funny movies. So that's what we'll be doing later.
Awesome. Sounds like a wonderful day. We'll have a great Valentine's Day.
All right. Thanks. I'm out. Later, guys. Bye.
Excellent. Justin. And go Justin, and then I guess Umesh and Harsh, or Harsh and Umesh, and then Daniel.
Let's do some final.
What would you like to add,
here.
Justin?
Unmute this for a minute. All right, John, I'm going to end the stream. Go ahead and take a look at the camera so I can hit a good stream.